In this After Effects tutorial, I'll show you how to animate this fake 3D transition from full screen to 3 different devices. Hi guys, my name is Manuel, I'm a freelance motion designer. To follow along, download the project file for free. The link is in the description below. If you want to know how I animated these infographics, you might want to check out this video. Without any further ado, let's dive right in. The laptop is green, the phone purple, the smartwatch is orange and the computer has a blue layer color. Let's start there. First of all, we add a null object, and if you select the computer screen reflections layer, it will be created right above that layer. Let's name it null computer. Next, we trim it to the length of the other blue layers. And make it a 3D layer by activating this little cube. The null object will rotate, scale and position all the blue layers, so let's link the blue layers to the null object. When we scale it down, you can see the whole computer setup getting smaller. By the way, the top layer is the screen reflections, below is a shape with the computer screen which functions as a Luma mask for the comp with the content. Below are some computer parts and the back of the computer, which is hidden now but will be needed later. Let's set a keyframe for the scale and position at the beginning. And after 20 frames we reduce the scale to 30% and change the wire position slightly to 516 pixels. Then we need to rotate the screen. As this is a 3D layer, there's an orientation property as well, which we're gonna use later. Let's add a keyframe for the Y rotation after 10 frames. 10 frames later, we change it to 87 degrees. Now we select all keyframes, open the graph editor, make sure the snap icon is activated and edit speed graph is selected. We select the left points and move them to that line and drag the handles as far to the right as possible. Then we select the right points and drag those handles to the right as well. So the move starts very slow and ends really fast. Alright. We need to animate the reflections quickly. Therefore, we animate the path by opening the path property. Set a keyframe at the beginning, then go to 20 frames and move the path to the left of the screen. We grab the path and hold Shift to move in a straight line. Then we select both keyframes and open the graph editor and create a similar curve to the ones before. First point and second point. Last thing we need to do here is give the computer some depth. We open the path property of the computer back layer and set a keyframe at 19 frames. Then we move to 20 frames and give it a little depth by adjusting some points. We move the second, third and fourth point on the right to the right. And grab the Convert Vertex tool to give it a nice round back. Part 1 of the rotation is done. Now the laptop will take over the second part. First of all, we create a null object for the laptop. Name it null laptop. Make it a 3D layer and trim it. Important is that we move the anchor point to the center of the laptop by using the anchor point tool. Now we need to link the layers. Laptop and laptop top are the two main layers. They each fold up, while the null object does the overall rotation. So let's link those two layers to the null object. The keyboard, laptop back, laptop depth need to be linked to the laptop layer, as they belong to the bottom part of the laptop. We need to readjust the rotation by pressing R and setting the X values back to 0. I guess it's because the anchor points don't have the exact same position. If you have any other idea why, let me know in the comments below. The reflections, the laptop screen mask and the content belong to the top part, so let's link those layers. Alright, let's start by animating the null object. We set a keyframe for the position, scale and orientation at 1 second and 10 frames by clicking on that little stopwatch, which is the end position we want to keep. Then we move to the beginning of the layer and set the orientation to 0, 193 and 90. the scale to 79% and the position to X 966 and Y 526 pixels. That puts the laptop in the position where the computer ended. Let's add Easy Ease In to the end keyframes to smooth the ending, by right-clicking on the selected keyframes. We change this red path a little to make the move less linear. We take the selection tool and grab those handles to form a smooth curve. Now we need to unfold the laptop. Therefore, we open the rotation property of the laptop and the laptop top layer by selecting the two and pressing R. Set a keyframe each at 1 second and 10 frames for the orientation. Then move to the beginning of the layer and change the X orientation value of the laptop layer from 107 to 82 degrees. One part is folded in now. Then we move to 24 frames and set the X value for the laptop top to 77 degrees. We want the top to start unfolding a little bit later. See this black shape here? It's the keyboard layer, which we don't want to see, so we move the beginning of the layer to 1 second and 7 frames where we need to see it for the first time. I mean, fake 3D is always a bit of cheating, nothing bad about it. Now let's take care of the back layer. We set a position keyframe at 1 second and 7 frames, then move to the beginning of the layer and move it to the left, so that it doesn't stick out that much. The rotation is so fast we mostly need depth at the end when things slow down. Let's move the content and reflections 1 frame to the left as well. We don't need to see these at the beginning. And add Easy Ease In to these keyframes here as well. Alright, this next part might be a bit annoying, but it needs to be done. We adjust the depth layer by opening the path property. Then we set a keyframe at 1 second and 10 frames and move back frame by frame and adjust the path. The points might react a bit weird because we're working with 3D layers. It doesn't need to be perfect as the movements are very fast. Although it's an animation you can reuse so many times, so let's put some effort in it. As you can see, here we need to move that shape way back to cover that corner in the back. Alright. Finally, part 2 of the rotation is done. Now we need to move the phone and the smartwatch. Let's link the reflections, the screen and the content layer to the phone layer. Same with the smartwatch, we link all the orange layers to the smartwatch layer. We don't need any 3D layers here as we just move along the x-axis. Let's open the position properties of the phone and the smartwatch by selecting the 2 layers and pressing P. We set a position keyframe at 1 second and 10 frames for the phone and 1 second and 20 frames for the watch. Then we move to 23 frames in the comp and hide the phone behind the laptop. The right corner is already visible. Then we select the position keyframes, open the graph editor and slow the end down by moving the right point down and dragging the handle to the left. After that, we move 1 second and 3 frames and hide the watch behind the phone. Same thing again, we open the graph editor and slow the end down. One last thing we need to do is animate the reflections of the phone and the watch. We open the path properties of the reflections layer and set a keyframe where each of the position keyframes are. Then we move to the beginning and move the path to the right. We slow down the end of the movement by opening the graph editor and dragging this right point down and dragging the handle to the left. Now we repeat the same steps for the smartwatch. Open the path property and set a keyframe for the end position, then move to the beginning and move the path to the right. Then again, we open the graph editor and smooth down the end of the movement. By the way, if you open the content precoms, you can easily change whatever you want to show in the screens. Could be a website or an app, actually any kind of content. What should my next tutorial be about? Let me know in the comments below. On the left side, I've added some videos you might like. Subscribe to my channel on the right side and ring the bell if you want to know exactly when the next video is coming out. Thanks so much for watching, hope that tutorial was somehow helpful. See you next time guys, bye!